Welcome back to Bethy Marie. I know it's been a little while since our last episode. We kind of took a break for a few weeks, upgraded some of our equipment, and we are back in action today with a new recipe for you guys. Really simple, really quick, really easy, really delicious. And I've got my buddy William here with me. William, can you tell us what we're going to make today?
English Toffee Bars.
That's right, English Toffee Bars. They're really yummy, and it's a great little simple dessert that you can get your kids involved in helping you make it, or you can just make it by yourself, whatever. Also, if you happen to have children and kids' play sets, a little kid's rolling pin will come in handy. If you don't have one, it's fine. There's other ways to make this work, but just a little heads up. You might want to raid the kids' kitchen. All right, well, let's get started. For our English Toffee Bars, we are going to first put some softened butter in the mixer. Now, I'm using the mixer today. You do not have to use a mixer. You can do it by hand as well. I'm just using this because it's fast.
Can I do it, Mommy?
Yes. Can you put the butter in there? Oh, well done. All right, also, little tip, save the butter wrappers. You're going to want to use them later, so just set them aside while you're getting your dough ready. Okay, so next we need 2 cups of flour. So let's go ahead and scoop some flour out.
I'll do 2 cups. I'll do it.
Now make sure when you're scooping your flour, William, that it's nice and level. See how we're missing a whole bunch of that section? So let me show you what I mean. I like to take a big scoop. Some people use a knife to level off their flour. I just like to gently tap it on the edge of the container until it is perfectly level and even. Here, I'll do this one and you can do the next one, okay? So I'm just going to dump it in. Go ahead and give a big scoop and then gently level it off. All right, here's our 2nd cup of flour.
It was like a volcano eruption.
Kind of.
So there you have it. Softened butter and sugar. They're already in there, and let's move on.
That's actually flour. Softened butter and flour, right? Now we're going to add our sugar, right? So now we're going to add 1 cup of brown sugar.
I'll do it.
All right, there we go. So that's 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of sugar, and 1 cup or 2 sticks of softened butter. Then we're going to put in 1 teaspoon of vanilla.
Can I do it?
Here, you hold the teaspoon and I'll fill it up. 1 teaspoon there. I'm going to help you carry it over just so it doesn't spill. There you go. All right, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and then we're going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. When you're pouring salt, it's always good to pour it over top of something because salt inevitably comes out fast and spills. So that was a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1 egg. And we are going to mix it up. All right, so save that there. Make sure you have preheated your oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Also, just a note, when you soften your butter, make sure that you do not let it get to the melted stage. The best way to soften butter, honestly, is just to let it sit out on the counter. Okay, so with this recipe, you're going to want to mix everything together until it comes very cohesively together in a very soft dough. You don't want it to be crumbly at all. You want it well mixed, and it'll be a nice soft dough. So your dough should look something like this, like a cookie dough. All right, so we're going to take this bowl off, and we'll show you the next step. What? All right, so we have mixed up our dough. Here it is, nice and soft and kind of cookie dough-ish. And what we're going to do is we are going to get a baking pan. And right now I'm using a pan. It's called a jelly roll pan. That's what you're going to want to use, that has sides. This is a smaller one. It's 15 by 10 inches. You can use a larger one if you like, but this is what seems to work well for us. And then you want to get a piece of parchment paper and cut it to fit inside. Little tip, if your parchment paper just wants to roll up and not lay flat, you can put a little dab of water on the cookie sheet underneath and it kind of grabs onto the paper to kind of keep it still. But ours is doing okay, so we're just going to leave it. Yeah. We're going to take our dough and we're going to spread it out onto the cookie sheet.
Oh no.
So this is where the little rolling pin will come in handy, because a regular rolling pin just will not fit in this little cookie sheet. So what we're going to do is spread this out to the edges of the pan, and it's going to be somewhat thin and it takes a little bit of work to get it evenly spread out. So what I usually do is start with a spatula and kind of get it at least generally in place. This is going to take a few minutes. Don't expect to be able to just pour it on and walk away. It'll take a little work to get it all spread out, but it will be worth it in the end. Use these butter wrappers that you saved earlier and to just sort of lay it on top of the mixture and use your fingers to press it. Sort of, it's non-stick and it allows you to get your fingers in there without your fingers getting all gunky, and it really kind of moves this dough around much more easily.
And it gets buttery.
Well, butter's never a bad thing to add, is it? We love butter in this house.
Oh, yeah.
Not too much, though, right?
No. Because if you put too much, it'll get all soggy.
Right.
So make sure you don't forget. And keep more. And comment down below.
Subscribe.
Subscribe if you want to see more videos on Bethany Marine.
That's true. We've got lots. And if you subscribe, you'll get lots of, or if you subscribe with notifications, you'll find out every time we post a new video. And you can check out our channel, see what else we've got on there.
Oh, yeah.
What's your favorite recipe that we've ever made, William, so far?
The chicken enchiladas.
Oh, chicken enchiladas. So that was really good. That was a pretty recent one, actually.
Or comment down below, up here.
All right, I'm going to try this rolling pin thing out here. So I have a butter wrapper in the middle, and I'm just sort of rolling with my little baby rolling pin. It's so cute. It does make it nice and smooth, actually.
Yeah, Mommy. And it helps to butter it on.
A little bit. Don't push too hard because it'll make it really dented. Perfect. All right, we'll lift it up and we'll take the butter wrapper off. So as you can see, we've pretty much covered the entire bottom of the pan. And we're going to go ahead and put it in the oven, 300 degrees, for about 25 to 30 minutes until the edges are just starting to brown. It'll still look a little soft, but it should be set really well. All right, so I just pulled this pan out of the oven. It's really hot, and that's a good thing because right now we are going to pour our chocolate chips over the top and they're going to start melting. So what I've done is I've used 2 cups of chocolate chips. That's the equivalent of 1 bag of chocolate chips. And the best thing to do is just to spread them out on top and give them a minute to start to soften. Pretty soon we're going to be able to spread a very liquefied chocolate over the top of our bars. So we're just going to give it a second just to sit here. Don't play with it too much because then you start digging into the dough and all of that, and nobody likes that. So we'll take this minute to remind you that the recipe for these English Toffee Bars is in the description of the video down below. So as it is the case with every recipe video that I do, I always put the recipe in the description if you're ever wondering. You don't have to take notes as you watch the YouTube video. And if you subscribe, that'd be awesome. You'll get updates on when all of our new videos are coming out. And we would love if you would just follow along with us. So let's just see how things are looking here. So as you can see, the chocolate chips are starting to melt. It's a good sign when you press down on it and you can see that. So at this point, I like to use just a regular silverware butter knife. If you have one of these icing spatulas, these work really well also. I'm just going to show you. It just helps you kind of gently and carefully spread the chocolate out. And again, like I said, the key is to take it out of the oven and dump the chocolate on it right away. Don't let it cool down first, or else the chocolate won't melt. So as we do this, we're going to be smoothing it out, and then we're going to let it cool down. I actually usually put it in the fridge for a few minutes, and it helps the chocolate harden up. And then we'll cut it into bars, and it will taste delicious. Essentially what you have here is a shortbread with chocolate on top. But we call them toffee bars because, well, that's what the recipe that we use calls them. It's one of those recipes that I found in a really obscure place. I had no pictures with it. I had no idea what it really was. I was just looking for something new to try out, and I thought, English Toffee Bars sounds really good, so let's just try it. I was a teenager when I first found this recipe, and I just wanted to try something new. So that's what I did, and discovered this little gem of a recipe, and I've been making it ever since. Now, your edges are not going to look beautiful, but don't worry about that because you can square them up with a knife later when you cut them into bars. So just make sure the chocolate is evenly distributed and smoothed out, and you are good to go. All right, well, as you can see, we have smoothly spread out a whole 2 cups of chocolate chips on top of our bars here. I'm going to let them cool slightly for a little bit at room temperature. Then I'm going to pop them in the fridge. The chocolate's going to harden, and I'll cut them up and show you how delicious they look. Well, here we are. Our English Toffee Bars have cooled down. I did put them in the fridge for a little while, and the chocolate is no longer soft. William's going to show you how you can tell.
So, here we go. See? It's not chocolatey. I don't get chocolate on my hands because I'm in the fridge for a while. So
now it's cooled down, right?
Now we'll get to eat it.
So the chocolate is set. So now we're going to cut into bars. Now, since we used parchment paper in our cookie sheet, it's easy to just lift it up. We have like a giant cookie right now. It's like a giant cookie. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's like a pizza.
You could just wrap this up and give it to somebody. It'd be great. Now, I'm going to cut this into bars now. And
it's like a present. It's like a pizza.
You think so?
Yeah.
What I usually do is I square off my edges a little bit first. So I like to use a sharp knife. Works pretty well. These are all the good bits, the little bits of crumbs on the edge. There's a hand coming in from the side about to grab it away. All right, so now that it's not perfectly straight, but you get the idea. Wow. Let's cut this into bars. How they look. Ta-da! So these are amazing. The way I usually store them is in a container with layers of parchment paper or wax paper in between, because if you do leave it out at room temperature, they tend to soften up a little bit and the chocolate can get soft. So another tip would be to store them in the fridge. But they are amazingly delicious, soft and chewy on the bottom, chocolatey on the top. Perfect English Toffee Bars. So if you would like to make some yourself, check out the recipe below in the description of this video and comment. Let me know if you make them, how you like them, and I would love to hear from you. Signing off for now.
Wait.
So good. So good.
I know.